Good evening, dear viewers of Divine Mercy Radio and Television. Welcome to our program, 7 Days in Focus, with me, Father Benjamin Fon. In the course of this program, we are going to present to you some of the items from our news text that was in this just ended week, wherein we are going to discuss and deliberate on some of the issues. This evening with me here in the studio is Father Roderick Iyansi, who will be giving us commentaries on these news items. Welcome, Father.
Thank you very much, Father, and it's my pleasure to be once more on this platform.
Thank you, Father. How's the week been, Father?
It has been good, it has been beautiful, no tough. We thank God, we give all glory to God.
I want to believe the weekend has been a tight one, definitely, Father.
Yeah, very tight, very tight.
Courage, Father. It's wonderful to have you on set again. I can remember the month of August, we started this program, both of us, where you drilled me so well into this program. And now it's a privilege again sitting once more with you in this platform wherein we are going to discuss these news items. Straight away, we are going to begin with our first news item, that is the 75th anniversary of the Boyardinary, which took place from the 27th to 29th of March 2025. This was at the Regina Pacis Cathedral Parish in Sumosopo, wherein the High Mass was led by His Lordship Bishop Michael Bibi Miabeswe. Given the fact that our Boyardinary concluded the dinary celebrations for the 75th anniversary. Regarding these reports, our reporter Franklin Fomukong gives us the details.
Laity, religious and priests working and living in all parishes and institutions of Boyardinary. Diocese of Boya gathered together this Saturday, March 29th to commemorate the 75th anniversary of Boya Diocese at the level of Boyardinary.
I've started the celebration of 75th anniversary at the level of the Dinary since 2 days now. We started on Thursday. Friday, today is the D-Day.
The festivities commenced with a solemn mass at Regina Pacis Cathedral, officiated by His Lordship Michael Bibi, who through the occasion commended the growth of faith in the deanery.
Thank all my brother, Father them, with and the work for the different parishes for this deanery, and also for thank all the consecrated men and women with and render services for we for this deanery, and each and every one for we, for all way to way with the doan, but make sure say make with spiritual life you go before.
This mass, joyously animated by the deanery choir, featured among others lectionary procession, address from the deanery pastoral council president, and special offertories stratified in order of parishes. Boyardinary is last deanery to celebrate the diocesan anniversary.
We thank God for giving us this opportunity to conclude with the deanery celebrations of the 75th anniversary of the Diocese of Boya. And it has been a successful event all through, and presently we have the diocesan pilgrimage that is coming up on the 5th of April. After the diocesan pilgrimage, we are going to have the Chrism Mass, which is linked up with the Cathedraticum on the 15th of April. On the 24th of April, we are going to have priestly ordinations. And after that, 26 to 27, we will join the nation in the national pilgrimage at Marienberg in the Diocese of Edea. And after that, we'll have the peak celebration. That will be on the 7th of May.
As a microcosm in the diocese, faithful from all 6 parishes in Boyardinary, Our Lady of Sorrows Parish, Wonyaliose, St. Therese of the Child Jesus Parish, Mekongi, Our Lady of Immaculate Conception Parish, Great Sopo, St. Anthony of Padua Parish, Boya Town, and Regina Pacis Cathedral, Sumosopo, tilted their attention to May 7th, which is D-Day for the 75th anniversary of Boya Diocese.
Still at the 75th anniversary celebration at the level of Boyardinary, where the Christians rounded up the 3 days celebration with socio-cultural activities which took place at the ceremonial ground, still at the Regina Pacis Sumosopo. Our reporter Bernard Asongne with details.
In a vibrant display of faith, Christians of Boya Deanery, together with their priest and the local ordinary of the Diocese of Boya, have rounded up the Boya Deanery celebration of the 75th anniversary of the Diocese of Boya. Finishing the Eucharistic celebration, they all moved to the esplanade of the ceremonial ground of the Regina Pacis Cathedral, where the day was animated by lots of socio-cultural activities from the Christians themselves. Ranging from choral singing to traditional display and ballet dances, the people expressed the joy of 75 years of proclamation of the gospel.
Maria, you go get now. You go get Maria, you go get now. Pararam, 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 pararam. Pararam, 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 pararam. Pararam, 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 pararam. Bibi, kueyo yama. Bishop bibi, bishop bibi, kueyo yama.
Featuring during the celebration was the presentation also of prizes to the parishes who participated and carried the day in the various activities. Being the last deanery to celebrate the 75th anniversary at the level of deaneries, the Deanery Pastoral Council chairperson has evaluated the event as successful.
In terms of evaluation, I want to say that the 3 days event for the celebration of 75th anniversary at the level of Boya Diocese has been very successful. In fact, we have been surprised. I think it was all beautiful. Beautiful because Boya Deanery is the mother and the grandmother of all dioceses and deaneries, so they know what to do and they know just what to do.
The joy and ambience that filled the atmosphere left the people fulfilled and delighted.
We celebrate our 75th anniversary, so we are very happy. We don't start on number 3 day today, so we don't enjoy today with the Enam. We don't sing, we're glad, we dance with our bishop. Today, so we go sleep with joy. What King will go so like
As everyone look up to the grand celebration come May 7, 2025, they are reminded all the more to belong fully, participate actively, and to contribute their own quarter to ensuring the proclamation of the gospel message to the ends of the earth.
Thank you, Bernard Asongne, for that report. Still in the context of the 75th anniversary, we see the members of the steering committee meeting and having been encouraged to see the challenges which they face in the course of their preparations as a stepping stone to a successful celebration come 7 May 2025. The call was made by His Lordship Michael Bibi during a follow-up meeting on April 2nd on resolutions of preparations for the peak celebration of the 75th anniversary, which will come up on the 7th of May. Details with Magdalene Wondo.
After the 75th anniversary celebration of the Diocese of Boya at the level of deaneries, the steering committee had an enlarged meeting to plan for the peak celebration, which will take place in a month's time on May 7, 2025. Vicar General of the Diocese of Boya, Monsignor Jude Thaddeus Mbi, gave a highlight of some activities to commemorate the 75th anniversary celebration.
With regard to the peak celebration itself, the major thing is the visit of the Under-Secretary of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples, who will be coming to visit our diocese. That is really big. And the Christians are called upon to mobilize, come out and greet him. It will happen on the 6th of May. On that same 6th of May, at 11 o'clock, he will receive the priests. By midday, he will receive the religious. Then he will go around, visit a little in some of the places, like go to visit the cathedral, the minor seminary, the bishop's house. he should get a small feeling also of the diocese.
Committees had the opportunity to give reports on the level of progress made in various areas of preparation for a successful celebration. Proposals were made and resolutions taken by these committees regarding their functions.
It was a golden opportunity for us to dot the I's and cut the T's towards the preparation of the grand 75th anniversary of our diocese. And we are putting much in place. We have learned from our past shortcomings and we have upgraded. And it is a fervent wish. I want to assure all the Christians of the Diocese of Buea, visitors who will be coming in and out of the country, that we are, God willing, going to have a hitch-free 75th anniversary.
Various deans of the Diocese of Buea also gave evaluation reports of the 75th anniversary celebration in their deaneries and activities that were carried out. This meeting was put in place for follow-up and resolutions of the steering committee preparation of a grand celebration.
With regard to the planning of the event, the various committees have already been given their instructions, so they know what they will do. And of course, we know that leaning on experience of the past event, that is the January event, the peak celebration will be again more successful.
Steering committee members were urged to be ready to carry out responsibilities for a historic celebration of the 75th anniversary of the Diocese of Buea come May 7, 2025 at the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral.
Thank you, Magdalene Wondo, for that report. It has been a whole year of celebrations in the Diocese of Buea, gearing towards the peak celebration of the 75th anniversary for the Roderick, that is 7th of May. Looking at these celebrations according to various deaneries, Father, we know we have moved from Moliko Deanery, Munya Deanery, Tiko Deanery, Limbe Deanery, Bota Deanery, and it was crowned by Buea Deanery. Looking at these whole celebrations, what is your take on it? Is there hope for the grand celebration come 7th of May? Are we gearing towards a magnificent and successful event come next month, or what are we gearing towards considering this?
Father, I would first of all like to say it was a very wise move by the committee who sat and drew and planned that each deanery should host this event. Each deanery should celebrate at the deanery level, because from there we're able to see what deaneries could do. It brought out that uniqueness and made each deanery to participate fully in this 75th anniversary. I don't think there's any Christian in the Diocese of Buea now who can say he or she is not aware of the upcoming 75th anniversary thanks to this deanery celebration. And I think from the various deaneries, the way we have seen the various deaneries go with their celebration, I think the diocese has a lot to offer. The diocese has a lot to offer, and a lot of it has deep history when you see the presentations done and you see the way the Christians rally towards this upcoming event. I think there is hope, Father. There is hope for a beautiful celebration. And given the fact, as we heard from the report, that we are going to be having a high guest from Rome, a representative of the Holy Father, just to see how magnificent this event is, we hope and we pray that all the Christians should rally together as the Vicar General says, so that we can be able to receive the representative of the Holy Father. And in this we'll showcase what our diocese has. We have a lot of potentials, and there's a lot to celebrate and thank God for in our history, the history of this diocese. Buea Diocese is one of the dioceses in this country that has made its mark in the history of this country, and I think it's worth celebrating. 75 years is worth celebrating. Just to encourage the Christians that after having celebrated for all these phases, I think it is very important that we should rally together. We should come out in our great numbers as we have done at our deanery levels. Let us come out again with that solidarity in order to to make everybody to know that we are one, we are united, and we are people who love our diocese.
Thank you very much, Father Roderick. From April 2024 till April 2025, it has not been easy from this deanery to the other, and it is just around the corner. Next month, 7th of May. As Father Roderick said, if we all have the same spirit which we had at the respective deaneries, and we bring all that energy together on the 7th of May, it will be a wonderful celebration. Away from the 75th anniversary, which is not the sole focus of the Chief Shepherd of the Diocese of Buea, he is also very much focused on the pastoral life of the diocese. This we see as he calls of all the Presbyterial Council members to discuss and see the implementation and execution of the pastoral program strategy for the Diocese of Buea. This was during a meeting held on April 1st, 2025 at the Bishop's Conference Hall in Small Support Buea to prepare for the upcoming events. The meeting was chaired by the Chief Shepherd, Michael Bibi. Nadesh Meh with details.
Members of the Presbyterial Council, made up of deans from various deaneries and the bishop, gathered at the Bishop's Conference Hall in Small Support Buea to deliberate on key issues related to the diocese. The discussions were centered around upcoming events including the Chrism Mass, Cathedraticum, the Lenten pilgrimage, and the funeral program for the late Reverend Father Nicholas Happy, amongst others. The Chancellor of the Diocese of Buea, Reverend Father Michael Mbowi, expatiated on the objectives of the meeting, emphasizing the importance of planning and coordination for these diocesan events.
So we needed to come together to be able to discuss, to see how to plan for the funeral of our brother, Father Nicholas. There are other issues too that are coming up in the diocese, like the 75th anniversary of the diocese, which is coming up very soon, and we have our Vatican representative in the person of our Archbishop Fortunatus Nwachukwu. So we need to discuss or see. It's a diplomatic visit, so we need to know exactly how to prepare for it, how to plan things so that it is given the grandeur that it's supposed to have. And also, since he's a diplomat, he cannot come to the diocese without equally meeting with the government officials. So he has to travel to Yaoundé and all of it. So there's a lot that we have been discussing in the course of this particular meeting.
The chairperson of the Association of Diocesan Priests, Reverend Father Asek Bernard, outlined some of the points raised during the meeting. Among the decisions made was the need for thorough preparations to ensure the success of these upcoming activities.
The first point that we discussed was the funeral of our brother, Father Nicholas Happy. And at least we discussed much about that, and the program will be communicated surely this evening or tomorrow. They also discussed about the 75th anniversary of our diocese. And there it was concluded that we should encourage all the Christians to attend massively.
The Dean of Monya Deanery, Reverend Father Stephen Berignui, and Monsignor Jude Thaddeus B expressed their satisfaction with the discussions and the outcomes of the meeting.
The bishop is so open-minded, he doesn't just sit in his own house, decide on his own. He consults with his priest and also get their own opinion, get their own suggestions, and then together as a father, he communicates what he thinks is okay for the diocese, what is good for the diocese.
We looked at that one, and then other things that are in between and that concern the diocese also. So I think that it's a very good thing that we meet regularly and are able to brainstorm.
The meeting marks an important step in ensuring that the diocese's mission continues to move forward with purpose and devotion.
Thank you, Nadeshme, for following that meeting and for bringing us that report. Recently, the Holy Father appointed 6 monsignors in our Diocese of Buea. That is an honorary title given to priests who have served tirelessly and have given their all to the church. The report on this with Yannick Funky.
The Regina Pacis Cathedral's small supper was filled with joyful surprises as the Bishop of Buea, His Lordship Michael Bibi, announced the appointment of 6 new Monsignors in the diocese by His Holiness Pope Francis.
The first Monsignor, na Monsignor Martin Donny Muma. Then we get Monsignor John Chamda. Then we get Monsignor Jutadios Mbi. Then we get Monsignor Moses Tazo. Then we get Monsignor Sebastian Fonsa. And finally, we get Monsignor Edward Ngalame.
These distinguished priests were carefully selected in recognition of their unwavering dedication and service to the church.
It actually came as a big surprise to me. And I would thank God for the years I've worked as a priest, and it has not been easy. But the significance of all this is that God has accepted and they have recognized the work I've done here. And I'm praying that God should continue to help me to continue to serve the people of God in whatever capacity and wherever I find myself.
I'm particularly happy, grateful to the bishop, to the diocese, and to the Holy Father himself, who accepted that I be considered for the new title of Monsignor for the Diocese of Buea. I pray that God will continue to grant me the graces to serve the diocese in this capacity, as has been happening all along.
It's a wonderful blessing, and I'll just try to humble myself given the situation of today's gospel. I'll try to be humble because you can get blown up and you don't do God's work. So I'm very happy, I'm very humbled, I promise to do my best.
Having devoted themselves wholeheartedly to the mission of the diocese, their elevation is a true reflection to their commitment to God and humanity.
Did a bit of something which the thing is worthwhile for the church. And I just pray that even at this time, that is just the beginning. If God can give us the opportunity, we'll try to see deep more that what we're able to do. I think we recognize that we have done something. It's a sign that we are able to do something. So I just pray that I get the graces to do a little more for the Lord Vineyard.
Thank the Bishop and thank the Holy Father for accepting the letter that I should be Monsignor. And I hope that he will give me the power that I need to do the work of a Monsignor in a bigger way as a priest.
In the coming weeks, the Bishop of Buea will preside over a special investiture mass to officially confer their new title. As part of the ceremony, they will don a distinctive cassock with purple trim, symbolizing their esteemed rank within the church.
We get for prepare all their monsignors, sultan them, their beretta them, their sash them, everything.
It is worth noting that the last 2 monsignors in the Diocese of Buea were Monsignor Luke Atang and Monsignor James Tuba, both of blessed memory.
Thank you, Yannick Funky, for that report, and we say congratulations to our 6 new Monsignors, still focusing on the pastoral life of the Diocese of Buea. We had a catechist from all over the diocese, having attended a 1-week ongoing residential training, which took place. That is the 3rd residential training for the catechists of Buea, a program which is spearheaded by the St. John Paul II Institute of Theology, Joppa Seat. The training has been hinged on equipping the catechist on the basic doctrinal contents of the Church's doctrine amidst a relativistic society and varied interpretations. Martin J. with details.
Catechists in the Diocese of Buea remain the noble initiators of neophytes into the Catholic faith, a task so demanding that can be entrusted by the Church only to those she is absolutely convinced of. It is on this background that the organization of the third ongoing residential training of catechists of the Diocese of Boya was scheduled from Wednesday the 2nd of April to Saturday the 5th of April 2025 by the director of the St. John Paul II Institute of Theology, Jopasit Boya, Reverend Father James Ajongbu. This session aims at digesting a wide content of the faith in the Church's doctrine within the sacred sciences based on the Catechism of the Catholic Church, canon law, social teachings of the Church, liturgical practices, pastoral communication, and many others. As the session unfolds, the impact cannot be overemphasized. It becomes so glaring and so impactful as most of the catechists are said.
In our third session of the Jopasit, that's the Catechists of the Diocese of Boya, here we are since from Tuesday to today, Thursday. So from Tuesday to today, we have learned on the life of Christian in the Church by Father Benjamin, the first three commandments by Father Moka, and our life in the community. Well, since that day it's really enriching, now I come to understand the reason why as a Christian I have to live in the community friendly and lively. And secondly, the first three commandments has helped me to know more about God and to relate with man. Today we have talked about the fourth commandment to the seventh commandment, which has enriched us in how we live in the society and how we can communicate with man and with God.
The way the teachers have been teaching, I have learned a lot. Not only to live by words, but by my way of life. So that I will not only teach by my words, but by my examples.
Leadership, the qualities of a good leader, and the role of an ideal leader was also a point of concern.
We have talked about leadership, and we say leadership is somebody who inspired others. Leadership is somebody who gives advice, who help others to grow.
The third residential training of catechists of the Diocese of Boya, which wraps up as the week draws to a close, has been a moment for establishing more fertile grounds with regard to the faith in the lives of the entire Christian faithful. For by teaching there is evangelization, and with evangelization there is concern for the growth in faith, and lives are changed as the catechists look forward to carry along with them the impactful and graceful moments of disseminating the faith undiluted and uncontaminated.
Thank you very much for the messenger for that report. Keeping in line with Christ's mandate in Matthew 28 verse 19 to his apostles to go out and spread the good news, baptizing all the nations. We are also working in line with that in the Diocese of Boya, seeing how we can tackle and handle the pastoral aspect in our diocese. Looking at the Diocese of Boya, Father Roderick, one may dare to think that the focus is more on the 75th anniversary and the projects that we have. But looking at what we just saw in the past news reports, we see that that is not the main concern. Actually, what we are after is evangelization and looking at every tool to achieve that goal, spreading the good news, working towards the salvation of souls. We just came in contact with the report, seeing the Presbyterial Council meeting, seeing the 6 monsignors that were being appointed, and looking at the Catechist residential program, which has been ongoing since last year. What do you have to say about the pastoral life of our diocese?
Yes, Father, it's basically clear. The fundamental duty of a priest is to teach doctrine, and that is what the bishop always reminds us. That's why he himself has sat as the first teacher, the first catechist of the diocese. Every morning he teaches doctrine. Every morning he teaches doctrine. The work of a catechist is to teach doctrine, and so we as priests, we are that is our function, our duty. It's primary to our mission as priests to teach doctrine for the faith. I think it has been done already in the Diocese of Boya. It has been going on because when you go to even in various parishes, you see every Monday, most Mondays are days for doctrine in the parishes. The bishop has encouraged, let each priest arrange with his Christians day to teach doctrine. We can never get tired of teaching the doctrine, and that is our duty. And so recognizing the role the catechists play in this mission of evangelization, I think is very necessary, because the catechists are essential in this model of catechesis, and they play a vital role which cannot be denied and which cannot be ignored. And so I think that this ongoing formation which they are doing now is very necessary. And I also want to encourage other parishes to queue in this formation process, bring in their catechists, let their catechists go through this program also, and see that it is well, it's part and parcel of our journey. We are journeying together as a diocese. We are journeying together with the mind of the bishop to make our Christians well equipped with knowledge of the faith. We are good. We should stand above in everything we do.
Thank you very much, Father Roderick. Away from the Diocese of Boya, we are going to take you to Rome, where Cardinal Pietro Parolin presided over a mass on the 2nd of April this month. So that is to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the death of St. John Paul II. During his homily, he commemorates the legacy of a pontiff who profoundly shaped the church and the world. Bernard Asongne followed this ceremony and brings us this report.
Reflecting clearly on Pope John Paul II's final moment 2 decades ago, Cardinal Pietro Parolin has recalled the powerful images of the Pope embracing the cross during the Way of the Cross, his silent Easter Sunday blessings from the window overlooking St. Peter's Square, and the immense crowd that gathered to bid farewell to their shepherd. The Vatican Secretary of State was celebrating Holy Mass in St. Peter's Basilica on April 2nd, 2025, the exact date which records the passing into glory of Pope John Paul II on April 2nd, 2005. In the presence of clergy, religious dignitaries, and faithful who gathered to commemorate the late pontiff in a spirit of gratitude and joy. Drawing from the Gospel of John, the Cardinal reflected on the deep faith that guided John Paul II throughout his life. This conviction, he said, sustained the late Pope in his unwavering mission, leading him to face challenges with extraordinary courage and faithfulness. Highlighting the Polish Pope's profound sense of living under God's gaze and the transparency of his life before God, the Cardinal noted that it was the foundation of his fearless witness to the truth, his unyielding defense of human dignity, and his tireless proclamation of the gospel.
Non ha alcuna paura dello sguardo degli uomini. E qui sta certamente uno dei fondamenti dello straordinario coraggio e della costanza della testimonianza di fede di Giovanni Paolo II davanti agli uomini in ogni situazione, in tutta la sua vita e in tutta l'eccezionale durata del suo pontificato.
As the entire faithful recall so well the Pope's recognition of divine providence in his own life, everyone is called to turn to him in prayer as the Pilgrim Church hopes continuously for his blessings for a wounded humanity in search of its dignity and vocation.
Thank you very much, Bernard Asongne, for that report. Leaving Rome and bringing you back to our country, Cameroon, wherein Thursday, 10th of April, commemorated the 4 years since the death of Christian Cardinal Tome. The prelate served the church in various capacities, and his love for the truth, sense of the common good, and ardent desire for the growth of the nation stand out as some key areas of interest that permeated the life and ministry of the Cameroonian Prince of the Church. Father Martin J tracked some of these historic and epic moments of this prelate and brings these in the next report.
Fresh, impactful, and ever-new memories remain in the minds of many persons from within the church and without, in Cameroon and out of Cameroon, in the Church of Cameroon, Africa, and the world at large, of Christian Cardinal Tumi, a prince of the church, as today, the 3rd of April, marks exactly 3 years since the demise of the prelate. The renowned Cameroonian prince of the church, born on October 15, 1930, in the blessed land of Kekai Kelaki, had a very significant and relevant role played in Cameroon's religious and social domains. The mission and the plan of God became so evident when the young Tumi began his journey in the church after being ordained as a priest on April 17, 1966. Progressively, he ascended the Episcopal College as the Bishop of Yagua in 1979 and later raised as the Metropolitan Archbishop of the Archdiocese of Yagua. Later on, he took charge of the Archdiocese of Douala as the Archbishop. With his adherence to orthodoxy and veracity pertaining to matters of faith and morals, and a spirit of resilience, he was later elevated to a cardinal by Pope John Paul II on June 28, 1988. Being steeped so deep into societal concerns such as leadership and the common good, he served as the president of the Cameroon Episcopal Conference and the president of the Symposium of Episcopal Conferences of Africa and Madagascar, known as SECAM. As an outspoken spiritual leader, Christian Cardinal Tumi never had to relent his effort in advocating for social justice, peace, equality, love, and unity in the country and the world at large, and to curb nepotism, corruption, tribalism, and many related ills. The legend passed away on April 3, 2021, and his legacy remains on the lips of the old and young alike, and to generations yet to come.
Thank you for the Martin J for that report. You see, great men who live heroic and virtuous life, who are actually striving to be upright, are never forgotten. We just saw in the two reports that was presented, Pope John Paul II, the Pope of the Millennium, as well as our own Cardinal, Christian Cardinal Tumi of blessed memory. But looking at these two great figures, don't you think they are worth emulating, and they actually serve as role models, not just for church leaders, but also state and societal leaders?
Father, when I look at these two popes, I was just trying to blend the two lives. John Paul II and Cardinal Christian Tumi. You see people who were advocates of justice, one, and they served humanity. They were out for the service of humanity. And you see, such people, their legacy will never die. And as we have seen these people, these are people who stood for truth. People that stood for justice and stood for peace. I was privileged yesterday, I'm just coming back from Kumbu. I visited the village of the Emeritus Cardinal in Kilaki. That was my first time being there. And I visited them. I visited the place. I visited his home where he grew and where his mother was there. And you see somebody from simple origins, and he grew up and became what he was, and it's just a sign that anybody, never be discouraged where you come from, and whatever you do it in sincerity. This is somebody we are recognizing today on the 3rd of April, 4 years after his death. But when you see his humble origins and his dedicatedness to what he wanted. He wanted justice, he wanted peace, he wanted truth. And till today, the air still talks about Tumi. The air we breathe, we still find Tumi in it. I think we need leaders like this in our country. We need people like this. We need people who are able to stand up for justice. I think that is what the church needs, and not only the church, the world. I think Africa, we are coming to that realization. We need leaders who are able to stand for justice, who are able to stand for truth, and who are fearless in the face of injustice, who are able to speak truth in season and out of season. I think these are who these two leaders were, and that is why we're celebrating them. I think most of us, we have to emulate them, and we pray that may they continue to rest in peace, and let other leaders also take example from these people.
Thank you very much, Father Roderick Yancey. We are called upon not just to look up to musicians or footballers, but we also have our own leaders in the church who serve as role models for church authorities, but not only them, also as role models for our civil and state leaders who can look up to them and copy an aspect from them, saying how to implement in the various areas and duties where they are serving. Great men are never forgotten. Great men will always be remembered. Great men will always live on in the hearts and mind of those still living. Leaving these two heroic and great figures, we are now going to take you to other dioceses in the country, wherein we know we are in the Lenten season, and this season is characterized by the whole aspect of pilgrimages. Now we are going to take you straight on to the Diocese of Bamenda, where priests, religious men and women, and the entire Christian faithful of the Archdiocese of Bamenda participated in this year's annual Lenten pilgrimage, which was on Saturday, 29th of March 2025. The spiritual journey took place at Njangma, with prayers such as Stations of the Cross, the Rosary, confessions, and a Pontifical High Mass celebrated by the Archbishop Andrew Kenya. Martin Nje with reports.
With resilience, the Christian faithful of the Metropolitan See of Bamenda trunked up in fortitude as they ascended the hills of Njangma, the pilgrimage site of this year's annual Lenten pilgrimage. The event witnessed the presence of priests, religious men and women, members of actions and apostolic groups, and of utmost importance, the presence of the Archchief Shepherd, His Grace Andrew Kea, Metropolitan Archbishop of Bamenda. This year's pilgrimage, being a journey to the sacred hill of Njangma, was undertaken with the intent of a spiritual growth, soliciting divine enlightenment. And this was evident with the celebration of the sacrament of confession, as the faithful recognized and reconciled themselves with God and man. Presiding over the High Pontifical Mass, the Metropolitan Archbishop prayed for peace in the Archdiocese of Bamenda within the Christian faithful, the nation Cameroon, and the world at large. He equally solicited on God's mercy, particularly as he prayed for the Christian faithful of Bamenda, with prayers both at individual and communal level through the Stations of the Cross, the Rosary, and many others. It was remarked as spiritually nourishing, especially with the message of the Archbishop drawn from his homily, citing and making reference to the 4 marks of the Church.
If there's something I must go back home today with, it's all about the teachings of the marks of the Church, where the Archbishop stresses on the 4 marks that the Church is one, Holy, Catholic, and Apostolic.
Just as the saints queue up in triumph to the promised land and the transcendent realm of the beatific life, the pilgrims returned with the assurance of belonging in the family of God's people, and for being blessed after attending this year's annual Lenten pilgrimage in Bamenda.
Thank you for the Martin J for that report. Away from Bamenda, we're going to take it to the Diocese of Kumbo, where the Christians of that diocese joined the Bishop George Nkuo, on Friday the 28th of March for their annual Lenten pilgrimage of hope to the hills of Boyong, a pilgrimage that was characterized by messages of hope at different levels. Father Jude Tanlaka with details.
Every year, Catholic Christians of the Diocese of Kumbo join their Bishop George Nkuo for a Lenten pilgrimage at the Boyong Hill in Du subdivision of the Dongamantum division in the northwest region of Cameroon. In the letter announcing this year's pilgrimage, the bishop referred to it as a pilgrimage of hope. Of course, because we are in the Jubilee year of hope, and also stated in the letter that we are coming together to continue to pray for lasting peace in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon. And so when we gathered at the Ndu grandstand for the blessing of the pilgrims on Friday the 28th of March, the bishop exhorted the pilgrims not only to have hope, but also to give hope to each other and to our land.
It's a time for each one of us to bring hope to our suffering people, to our suffering land. And it is in that spirit of hope that I invite us, may we begin in prayer to make that journey, that holy journey to our hill of pilgrimage to Boyong. The war in our two regions has brought untold suffering to our people. And each time we have something new to suffer. At one time, it was roadblocks, now road be open. Then liberation tax, you see there. Now, they ask me to surrender with ID card. Don't talk about it.
Then, January after January, the faithful prayed the Stations of the Cross, moving towards the Sacred Heart Hill, Boyong. Upon arrival, the pilgrims passed through the Door of Hope, venerated the Stations of the Cross, received the Sacrament of Confession, and attended the Holy Mass that almost all priests of the diocese were present, as well as many religious men and women. During this Mass that was animated by Jotun the preacher was Father Peter Gani, a Capuchin brother, who described hope as looking beyond the present darkness, looking to the promises of God who says, I know the plans I have for you.
Know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you. God's plan is to prosper us and to bless us. And it's that plan of God that lifts us up even in moments of darkness, in moments of difficulty, of challenges, in moments when our headlamps cannot help us.
The title of his homily was, God's plan is better than what we hope for. And remarkably, the Diocesan Pastoral Council, represented by Reverend Father Dr. Andrew Solinga, proposed an operation under the title Operation One Man to support the bishop in line with the Chrism Mass collection. This operation involves giving at least an amount of money that equals the price of a bottle of beer or more to help the bishop in addressing the increasing demands for the bishop's assistance by the Christians during his pastoral visits, with respect to their numerous projects. It was a massive turnout, and according to some pilgrims, they received the spiritual renewal they longed for. Most of them appreciated the progress recorded as far as logistics were concerned.
To me, it has been a great success, despite the state of the insecurity that we are still experiencing in our diocese.
It has been a wonderful experience. At least the spirit of prayer was there. This year has been full as people prepared themselves from their houses before coming. And we are really praying and hoping that by next year it will be more than what we have today.
I felt very satisfied because, as Bishop expressed in his concluding remarks, it was such a challenge for people from Jotun, from Elankor, and Jikitem Ibal, and Jotun, of course, to come together because it's a vast place and prepare. But they did their best, and the turnout from people, in spite of all the challenges that they are facing, shows that their faith is deep.
Thank you for the Jutanlaka for that report. We leave the Diocese of Kumbo and take to the Diocese of Mamfe, where the Chief Shepherd, Bishop Aloysius Abangalo Fondong, exhorted all never to lose hope during the most trying moments of their life, making reference to the current Anglophone crisis, but to have faith, hope and perseverance, walking in the way of the Lord. The pilgrimage took place recently at Our Lady of Fatima Shrine, Mboka. Summer Eileen with details.
Pilgrims from Mamfe, Oyomojok and Guti Dineries converged on Our Lady of Fatima Shrine, Mboka, recently for their diocesan Lenten pilgrimage. The spiritual exercise, which began with blessing of the pilgrims by the Chief Shepherd of the Diocese of Mamfe, His Lordship Aloysius Abangalo Fondang, featured other spiritual activities such as Rosary, Stations of the Cross, Confession and Holy Mass. During Mass, the local ordinary anchored the first part of his teaching on the Jubilee Year of Hope and the theme Pilgrims of Hope. As true Christians, the prelate urged them to place their hope only in Jesus. Bishop Aloysius also elaborated on the blessings that precede this Jubilee Year. The plenary indulgence, he explained, can only be attained through true repentance, charitable acts, participation in the Eucharist and praying.
The desire and expectation of good things to come. Any man in the get down things who want us so good things, who don't come for prayer for here, any man they hope never get good things. Despite our not knowing what the future may bring. Even though they come without prayer, we don't know what tomorrow will be. Even so, uncertainty about the future may at times give rise to conflicting feelings, ranging from confident trust to apprehensiveness. Some man will be overconfidence about the future, other one will be fear. From serenity to anxiety, peace. Man will worry about tomorrow. Another one will worry. From firm conviction to hesitation and doubt. Often, the Holy Father continues, we come across people who are discouraged, pessimistic, and cynical about the future, as if nothing could possibly bring them happiness. Yes, plenty time they meet up people then. We don't talk to them plenty time for the situation we don't go through for this side for Cameroon.
The plenary indulgence, he explained, can only be attained through true repentance, charitable acts, participation in the Eucharist and praying. The Chief Shepherd also exhorted the Christians on the uniqueness of the Lenten season. He emphasized that Lent is a time for personal reflection and evaluation of oneself, their relationship with God and their neighbors. Reflecting on the readings of the day, the prelate urged all present to walk in the way of the Lord, which is justice, love, and humility. These pilgrims explained how important the spiritual exercise is to them.
I'm called Deborah. I'm coming from Bemes Parish. The pilgrimage was very nice. It was a good experience being here. The place looks so beautiful.
The pilgrimage was very, very fruitful, because I came with a lot of problems, and in the course of the prayers and during the homily at Mass that the bishop gave, it was very fulfilling. It was as if the bishop was talking directly to me. So I can say 100% the pilgrimage was fruitful and successful. So I am going back home joyful, hoping that my prayers are already answered.
In short, the pilgrimage was very rich. That's all just what I can tell you. It had a lot of substance that if we have to digest it, I think it will go a long way to improve on our Christian mood.
After Mass, a common meal was shared and the pilgrims departed with renewed hope.
Thank you, Sama Eileen, for that report. That story brought us to the end of our news items this evening in our program, 7 Days in Focus. But before leaving you, it is good for us to look at these whole pilgrimages that we just saw in the news reports from the various dioceses, given the fact that today we also had us, the Diocese of Boya. When we look at the massive turnout of Christians visiting these holy sites, there is just one thing that comes to mind. We are still having that reverential fear and awe for God and these holy sites. We see Christians who are actually searching and longing for God. What do you have to tell us regarding these pilgrimages, Father Rodrigue?
Yes, Father, we did not play the pilgrimage of Boya because we just had it today, and so the report was not ready yet. But all the dioceses in the province have had it. And when you go through all the reports that we have heard from the various dioceses, you see that the Christians of this province still have a high faith. Their faith is still, they still believe strong in the power of these pilgrimages. And I think that is very important. Pilgrimages are those journeys which we encounter spiritual strength together as a diocese. When you hear like from the Diocese of Kumbu, they live from far places. People come and even sleep before the day of the pilgrimage. And even in our diocese here, where people have to sacrifice a lot and go, just like today, you see the prelates themselves, the bishops themselves leading the community in prayer. I think it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I think it's a sign that we know what we are going for. You see the massive turnout of Christians. You know that Christians know what they are going in for, and some Christians do not afford to miss. Like I had somebody calling me yesterday. And this lady was in Douala and she's from Bamenda. She had missed the pilgrimage of Bamenda, the Lenten pilgrimage in Bamenda, but she said she cannot miss a Lenten pilgrimage. So she was asking me, when is our pilgrimage? I told her she had to travel early this morning, run to come and get to the pilgrimage. To me, it was a lot of faith. That's great faith, and I think it's beautiful, and we should encourage our Christians to keep up with this faith. Do not miss out on such spiritual benefits, because they come with enormous graces. You may just need going to these holy sites and just that walk up that hill, that walk up, that mortification of the body, just a little mortification, it will gain you a lot and will change a lot of things in your life that you have been struggling with for so many years. Many people go for pilgrimages and come back different. They come back with a lot of new insights in them, and they come back more refreshed to begin again. So I thank those that went, and I pray that next time those that missed out this year should not miss out again.
Thank you very much, Father Rodrigue, for that sharing. And it is worth noting that these are one of the exercises which grants us indulgencia, as we heard it today from our Chief Shepherd in the course of his sermon, wherein he granted full indulgence to the pilgrims who were at Bojongo. Making such holy journeys, definitely we benefit from these special spiritual benefits and grace. And as we all know, the indulgence is a remission for temporal punishment due to sin. Paying this visit to these holy sites, making this holy journey, keeps us as beneficiaries of these spiritual grace that we receive. And let's not forget and lose sight of the fact that the national pilgrimage will be coming up, wherein we'll go to Mariamberg to pray for peace in our country, Cameroon, with all the chief shepherds and the whole nation, not just our province and limited to our diocese, no, but the whole country, where we are all called upon to prepare ourselves and have a massive turnout to go to this holy site, Mariamberg, praying for our beloved nation, Cameroon. With these, dear TV friends, we have come to the end of our program, 7 Days in Focus. Thank you very much, Father Rodrigue, for the wonderful insights and contributions which you gave us in the course of this program. And we thank JC, who has been behind the cameras, making sure that you watch us live. And we thank you all, our dear viewers, for staying tuned and following us this evening in our program 7 Days in Focus. I've been your host for the Benjamin Phone. See you next week, same time, for our same program, 7 Days in Focus. God bless you.